Good afternoon, everyone. I want to say thank you to all of you who went and viewed and commented and liked the first inaugural video I posted for this startup channel here, talking about Joes and Cobras and Dreadnoks. Of course, in the immediate view, you see some of my custom work, which is just basically a placeholder. Today's episode is called Purchase or Pass, and I'm going to go through some of the new figures that are coming out both in box and on card back and talk about what my plan is and why, sharing some thoughts and opinions based on not just the figure itself, but how it looks, how it's being presented, how the character may have affected me in childhood as far as comic book, Sunbow cartoon, and playability. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in and start that and switch here to this first one, Big Lob. Purchase or pass? You know, at first I wasn't sure I wanted to get this because I'm very much against the whole Refrigerator Perry, Rocky Balboa sports and basically gimmick figures. And in the cartoon, when he was chucking grenades into sensors in the training field with Tunnel Rat under Beachhead's direction, I kind of was like, this is stupid. But I have to tell you, the figure itself looks pretty cool, and not only am I going to purchase, but I'm going to grab two. A couple of reasons I like this figure. One, the weapons he comes with are pretty kick-ass, and that's saying something for Hasbro because they're pretty lazy with their weapons and they do a lot of reproductions and re-slap-ons, as I like to call them. It is kind of cool that he comes with the basketball hand, for those of you who are into the sport of basketball. And if you can hear the lovely cover girl in the background talking, I did banish her to the bedroom to talk to her good friend on the phone, but it's a small apartment, so I missed the opportunity to do this earlier when it was quiet, so forgiveness is asked. Like I said, this is a new startup thing. There's going to be some bumps in the road, but what I really like about Big Lob 2 is the head sculpt. I am so over the fact that everyone who's black, and I don't say African American, by the way, I say black. When I was in the Marine Corps, which is my first branch of service, there were light-skinned Marines, which we called light green, and dark-skinned Marines, which we called dark green. I didn't play all that bullshit. So again, we do curse on this channel. And I like that his head sculpt looks unique. We've got too many black characters that look like rock and roll, Roadblock. See, we're gonna make mistakes. We're gonna have bloopers. They look like Roadblock or Roadblock's cousin. Doc and Stalker. That's it. That's all we've got. Like, throw an afro in there. Give me something. You know, give me something. Give me somebody with some dreads. And this guy's got a great facial sculpt. He looks different. Definitely, they put a little effort in, which is nice. And you know, even Valaverse rollout, he looks like Roadblock's little brother. So I was just so disappointed. I was like, oh, okay, another bald black guy with mustache and beard. Cool. Let me put that in the bin with the heads. So obviously we have to source heads from Marvel Legends, Star Wars, etc., etc. So definitely gonna get two of him, one to keep and one I'm gonna turn into somebody. It's gonna be a cool kick-ass project. So let's scroll to the next one, Lifeline. Okay, so I've got a lot to say about this guy. First of all, I can't stand the character. And I'm gonna tell you the whole pacifist thing, as a former military member and a person who was lightly cross-trained in combat life-saving and knew some really kick-ass medics. One, his outfit screams, shoot me first. Wearing bright red, and you're gonna have this guy on a mission with this guy. I can have him throw a poncho on over that. And serving with this guy? Really? No. So first of all, the outfit's horrible. The head sculpt, it's okay. You know, I'm telling you, if you're looking for a Quinn, the Eskimo, could do worse than him. You know, if you buy him and you're gonna strip down all the gear and stuff, sure. The white gear, that weird red Protec hockey helmet, and the fact that he was a pacifist, I just reread the comic where he basically is on the River Pirates deal, and you know, he basically sacrifices the information to protect the October Guard. And I'm like, bro, it's the 80s. Like, we hate Russia. So what are you doing? So yeah, I'm a no. I'm a pass on this one. This is not a purchase. This is definitely a pass. Next up, we've got Hit and Run. When I first saw this figure, I'm not gonna lie, I thought that thing kicks total ass, and I put 5 in my Amazon basket and was like, pre-order, blam. But the more I look at it, the more I realized I could build this very easily, and I've actually built and sold one of these. We know that Valaverse puts out the camouflaged sniper, Blowback, I believe is his name, and we've got the 60th anniversary pilot who, with a little bit of character massage. Weapons are pretty good. He's got a machete. He's got stuff that Alpine has. He's got the satchel. But it's nothing that we can't figure out, find, and make, right? So when it comes down to my Joe dollars, that's going to have to be a pass. And I really hate that because I loved that character as a kid. So I don't know. I may flip-flop on that. I may see him in a Target or something and just be like, nah, bro, I'm grabbing it. So, but right now it's going to have to be a pass. Next up, we've got Night Viper. I tell you, on this one, I look at it, I think it's kind of cool, but as someone who's worn night vision, that thing on his head, which I don't know if I can say the word dildo on YouTube or not, but we'll say dongle. The things that are banned to be shipped to Alabama on his head, I just can't with that. Like, no, what is that, a Hubble telescope? How are you fighting G.I. Joe with that? Because if you're doing it that way, that's just totally wrong. Also, scope rifle with that helmet, okay, looks like a Starlight scope. I could get down with that. He's got a lot of leg armor, maybe to walk through the brush. If you've ever walked wearing night vision, it's really restrictive and your head's moving all the time and you'll still hit twigs snapping you in the face. You'll still step in holes, etc. Not everybody gets those cool quad NVGs. Those things are really expensive and mostly only on tier 1 units and television. So if you're gonna break them up into parts, but I think honestly, it's gonna be a pass for me. Zap, an OG 13 member, and I mean, look, he's got some character, right? But I was just talking to my man Tony's Figs, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you've already seen his channel, but if not, go check it out because he's got some cool stuff. And I think I inspired him to make the 14th Joe Shooter, who is not Jody Shooter McCraig. It was actually Jim Shooter who penciled in the comics, and I made mine with a Wonder Man head, rock and roll body type build, and basically he was the Navy SEAL who was recruited by Hawk and Stalker, which didn't they recruit everybody? We'll eventually get around to doing a video on Crash Cart, the original medic who was in G.I. Joe teams. If you really think Hawk and Stalker put together an elite unit without a medic until Doc rolled in, you're sadly mistaken, but I digress. Zap's figure, very basic, comes with the weapons you'd expect. He looks like a green shirt figure they rebranded, and I've already made a Zap, so I probably won't buy him. I have no need to make him into anything else, so I will admire him from afar. But Rafael Zap Melendez, got a nice ring to it though. That's a no. That's a pass. Airborne, excuse me, David Crazy Legs Thomas, second serious blooper of the video. No, that's just, again, wearing the red padded shoot me in the chest and inner thighs. Hopefully you will hit a really important blood vessel that will take me out of the game quick. He's got a submachine gun, a knife, and a pistol, and he's parachuting in dressed like he just came from Cirque du Soleil. If you've never been to Cirque du Soleil, the acrobats wore very similar outfits, so definitely worth checking out, worth the money. So David Crazy Legs Thomas, no, I'm a pass. Cobra the Enemy Crimson Guard female, a cool figure. I think they could have made it a lot cooler if they added an alternate head and had a black female, a white female, and Hispanic female, and put those out there, because army builders would go nuts for that, and customizers like myself would probably if the heads look cool enough, probably be like, yeah, I'll give you some money. Just look at it as a head sculpt and a little bit of a tiny armory. I'm getting a sword, a knife, a pistol, a pack, and a rifle with a bayonet on it. I never understood why the Crimson Guards had bayonets out. Like they're fixing bayonets. Like what has gone wrong in Springfield or Cobra Island or Cobra Tower in New York, where the CGs are having to fix bayonets? Like some shit has definitely gone sideways. Where are the Cobra Troopers? Where are the Vipers? Where are the Dreadnoks? Like what's happening right now? Sadly, fellas, I'm a pass on this. I don't have regular Crimson Guards. I only use Crimson Guard Battle Android Troopers because they're cheaper, and that's going to come up again here in about another minute to build things and do customs. But cool figure. I actually think it looks pretty decent, and we don't get enough female builds where they actually have pants and long sleeves and not the exact same Lady J body. So if I needed it for a project, I was going to totally repaint it, but probably not at the price point. It's going to be pass. All right, Flint. Flint is definitely a purchase. I purchased Flint, and I did some work on him where I gave him on the right sleeve right here, excuse me, left sleeve, because I'm a lefty, and on his neck, I gave him a bunch of tats, kind of a Nordic feel. Gave him a better shotgun, some mag pouches from a Monster Force figure, brought that holster up to his hip, gave him a cigar and a black boonie hat. I basically made the Flint you don't bring home to your mom, the Flint that Lady J is like kind of into, but also a little scared of. And as I was working with him, taking him apart and doing some things, I thought this is really kind of the new Buck figure that replaces Desert Condor, right? Desert Condor from Valaverse, great figure. You can paint the shirt, paint the pants, take them apart. Comes with a plethora of gear, and we got Flint here with extra hands, basic camo pants, awesome black combat boots, not those freaking shit kickers with the shields on them that they put on all the big guys. And they gave him the one knee pad, which I get. I've done the whole one knee pad thing to look cool when I was in and take a knee. And I'm gonna tell you this, guys, knee pads slide down like 2 seconds after you put them on. And the only time they work good is if you're parachuting to do an airfield seizure and you land on the actual airfield, not the grass on either side of the runway, and you smack down on it, but you really should be landing knee first after an airborne drop anyway. I scraped off his airborne wings, colored up the tabs on his shirt, and put a tattoo on that open neckline too. I don't know about you guys, that I hate an open neckline. It's like we're not trying to show dude cleavage here, and when they put that crappy hair like they did with Mutt, no, acetone that shit right off. Purchase more than once. Probably going to get another one of him soon. Televiper. Okay, but this is the only one in the category that is both a purchase and a pass. I purchased one, and as soon as I opened him and realized, oh my god, all they gave him was a radio and 3 of the same heads, I did do an upgrade on him, and I probably should have had those figures, and you know what, I'm going to run and grab them real quick. All right, I'm back. Let's look at this cat here. I did the what that. He's got a Viper belt. He's got some pouches, probably has ComSec in there. Back in the day when I was in, I had to have a little thing that looked like a BlackBerry that I would transmit on. He's got a pouch back there. We're gonna assume that's his medical kit. He's got a sidearm because he's not stopping anybody with this. I mean, maybe some radio waves or something. Also, I put him in a collared shirt, so we've got some cross-pollination from a Cobra Viper. Got rid of the short sleeves. But yeah, did a little work on him right out of the box. And go back and show this Flint. See if you can see the tattoo work there. Got pretty lucky that day, man. It came out really well. This weapon is from Top Fun Retro 3D. Shout out to my boy John. And these overlays are from 87 Spuds. Got the American flag. And next up, and the boonie hat and the cigar are from Gridiron. And then, of course, those pouches from Monster Force. That's about all I did to them. I'm going to put them over here. Okay, so yeah, I purchased it, and I wished I hadn't. So because you can make a pretty decent one with a gridiron kit. Make a Cobra Trooper. Battle Android Trooper. Purchase or pass? I'm gonna go with pass. And not because there's anything at all wrong with this figure. It's just you can get bats cheaper. There's, Lord, what, 3 or 4 types of bats now? There's the boxed bat. There's the one for Destro's crew. The name escapes me. Iron Grenadiers. There, it came right back in. It escaped and came right back in. The Crimson bats, which is cool. Like, they come out in different colors, so if you want to work with some stuff. This guy looks cool. I actually saw him in GameStop the other day, and I was like, yeah, nah, you know, I'm good. So, and that's it. That's all we have there. So now we'll close this off by, we're going to talk about this new Dreadnought I made. Put this back. And we're going to knock some stuff over. Here we go. You can kind of see me in the reflection a little bit. This gentleman right here is Bone Crusher, Bone Grinder. Is that the 4th blooper? Thank you for hanging in. Top to bottom, custom head. Got it off eBay. Haven't checked with the guy who does that yet, see if he wants me shouting him out, so I'm going to do that shortly. His little leather half top here came off Ninja Spawn. If anybody's familiar with the Spawn characters, they are great for fodder and gear, because that's where these arm gauntlets came from. They came from Spawn Tactical Call of Duty Edition. And right back here, that knife came from Nuke, who I pulled apart for parts and actually sold him body-wise as a Dreadnought. This club was some kind of Marvel Legends weapon. I tuned it up. It was gold and just horrible looking. So this is his smash weapon. Obviously he has his slash weapon. Now, anybody's paying attention? Yes, this figure, this was made from a Road Pig buck. I have not seen many people customize Road Pig. I customized a version of him on a Death Metal Batman cycle, and looks pretty baller. We're not going to go into that today. Some changes. The belt buckle, no more pig on the belt buckle. The cod piece has been made black. His knee pads have been grinded down, so they both are just used and abused metal. No pig on there. His belt has been blackened out, so you don't see that little, I don't know, look like kind of a rhinestone cowboy belt or something. A lot of black accents. He's been dark washed on the body, and every single tattoo has been removed that came with him, which kind of hurt my heart because I love tattooing the figures and he had some really good ones. But this guy, Bone Grinder, we'll go into his file later because I did not print it out, but he has a full file card, and he is a member of the Georgia Charter of Dreadnoughts, which I'm currently building out to quite a large group. That is all for today, my friends. I thank you for tuning in and watching, and I did forget, as being a newbie on this, to ask you to like and subscribe. So if you do that, there will be more videos coming, more quality, maybe some backgrounds. I've still got to show everybody what's on my shelf over here that CoverGirl helped me assemble, and put some G.I. Joe puzzles together and frame them in our little humble abode. So hopefully I will meet and see some of you at Joe Fest as well, coming up this summer. And I will be attending the first evening of Toylanta in marvelous Duluth, Georgia.